Well, we just got off to a really poor start. We had 5 turnovers before the first media, and also I thought our shot selection was poor except for Hunter early, and so it was just a bad recipe. I thought we were a step slow in defensive transition. They're so good in transition. We were just behind the play, and I thought we did good in the half-court defense, but they really hurt us in defensive transition. It's hard to win. You know, they made 11 threes. We ended up making 8, a lot of those late. They're plus 10 at the line. And then, you know, the turnovers were really hard for us when we haven't really turned it over like that. So it's a credit to Pat and his team. He's got a really nice team, deep team. They can really shoot it. They play hard defensively. They've got great cohesiveness. I thought, you know, we lost our composure a little bit there when it got a little got loud in the building. Not that we've never been in a loud building, but situation, you know, we had some interesting technicals called on us. You know, I thought that we fought hard to finish it, but no moral victories. You know, but credit to Pat and his team. I knew they were good coming in, and what I saw in person was true. You know, Smith's a interesting guy to guard because, you know, you can't really help because then he gets open. So then he becomes a screener when you don't help, and then they get, you know, back cuts and lobs. And so we had to kind of mix it up going with him, and he's going to make some. Edwards is a good player, aggressive. You know, Chucky's playing at a high level as a point guard. He's really doing a great job running their team. So they've, you know, I think they're gonna finish strong in our league, would be my guess. And you know, we've got a tough stretch where we just came off Duke, Carolina here, and now we got Pitt at home on Saturday before we go to California. And so we just got to regroup. We're just halfway through the conference. I mean, that's the thing. I know it's a tough loss, but we're 7-3, and you know we got 10 more to go. So, any questions? Nope. Oh, I was ready to go. I knew you'd say something.
You probably can't say much, but were the technical fouls for talking to the officials? I know the last one was for the
taunting. I think the technical first one on Hunter is a culmination of him getting a absolutely horrendous whistle in our league. He shot 25 free throws in 10 games. He's one of the premier players in our league, and one of the nicest young men, if not the nicest young man I've ever coached. And so I'm sure he was just frustrated. But that's not how you handle that, and he knows that. So I don't know about the first one because, I mean, there's 14,533 people in the building and yelling and screaming. I don't know how. I couldn't hear it, and I'm standing on the court. But I have to trust what the ref says. But he doesn't get a good whistle because he's not a guy that lives at the three-point line. He's a driver. And so, you know, it is what it is, but that's something I just have to address, you know, with the league. Thank you for that question.
Coach, if you could just talk about, especially in the first half, Louisville offensively seemed to get some pretty good looks against your defense. Is, you know, normally very stingy. Could you just
I
talk
thought
about
they got
that?
them off transition, and I thought they got them off 50-50 balls. They're really good at 50-50. They were beating us to the ball, maybe some offensive rebounds. I played more zone in the first half than I really wanted to because we got buried a little bit there. But I thought the majority of their looks, I'd have to go back and watch it, were more in transition than were in the half court. Early on, they had a hard time scoring as we did, But then they got on that run. Did they make 3 threes in a row at one point? I think. I don't know exactly how they got them, but my guess is transition or some type of 50-50 ball. I don't think it was pretty out of their initial set. I'd be surprised if they got much out of that. But I'd have to go back and look, to be honest. I don't have that good a memory.
Steve, how much of a gap would you say is there a gap between Duke and Louisville and the rest of the league?
What, did you just see us play Duke? Does it look like there was a huge gap?
But Duke is on a 14-game winning streak, and the average win in the league is 20.
Okay, well, then you put Louisville in that group too?
Their average coming in tonight is 15.
Yeah.
And they've had one the game in fifth was only single digit.
Have they been to Duke?
You came here.
Yeah. I mean, I think Duke's playing at a really high level. I mean, because they have a extremely generational player in Cooper Flagg. I mean, he's everything and more that you can handle, and he's a very unselfish player. After that, I mean, I don't know. I think we're all kind of right in that mix, to be honest with you. Some of it's where you play them, and unfortunately we have to come here and they don't get to come to us. We have a very hard place for people to play at where we play too. I mean, don't take me wrong here. I think I've overly stated that I think what the type of job Pat is doing here. And I think he's I'm not surprised either, because I played against him when I was at East Tennessee State. But as far as the league is concerned, I don't know. We're only halfway through. But if you ask me about Duke, I would tell you, yeah, Duke's they're everything you can ask for and more. And we did everything in our power. We had a chance to go up 8 twice in the second half, couldn't do it, and then they just went at us, and it was hard. Made it hard for us. And so I think they're a step above everybody else, to answer your question.
Anything else? Thanks.
40, you ain't got nothing? God dang. All right.
All right. If everybody's ready, we'll go ahead and take questions for Terrence Edwards Jr. and Ryan Smith. Raise your hand, we'll get you a microphone.
Terrence, if you could just kind of talk about the fact, you've been in a bit of a shooting slump, but you've been playing so hard, defensively and moving the ball, great assist to turnover ratio. Just kind of talk about your mindset and then finally seeing some shots go down today.
I just say just keep going. Like my teammates and my coaches just always tell me keep shooting and keep doing the things that I'm doing right, which is be a good teammate and bring my defense and intensity every game, whether I'm making or missing shots. I know my team depend on me to come out there and guard and just be a pro in that aspect and be like an older guy, which you don't care about making or missing shots. And it was just good to see it go in today.
Very first possession, you took the ball from Salas and got it to Chucky. Layup, you guys went ahead. They had more turnovers than field goals in the first half. Did you ask to guard Salas, and what was the key to keeping him under control?
I didn't ask. It's just like me and Chucky try to give guys different looks. So Chucky probably to start off guarding a guy. They from the same like area or whatever. So it was good to just see him to accept that challenge. And we just want to give guys different looks. As the game go on, you give guys different looks on ball screens or whatever. It just throws guys off. And I feel like that's why we've been on this little streak. Just our defense intensity and working together and making guys turn it over. And we know he's going to shoot a lot of shots. So as long as you be there to contest, everything going to work out.
For either of you guys who wants to answer, you guys were really well prepared for their zone. And you also scored on one of the special situations inbounds plays. How important has preparation been for you guys to get where you are right now?
Yeah, extremely important. We go into every single game we play with the utmost respect for each opponent, understanding what they do really well. And, as you said, though, threw a lot of zone at us, and our coaching staff does a great job at just preparing us for when they go man. If they go zone in a huddle, we're talking about our man play. If they go into a zone, we got that ready as well. So, got to give credit to the staff and then the players for locking in on long film sessions. And things can seem to get kind of repetitive as the season goes on, but we do a really good job at staying engaged and being elite in preparation for every single opponent.
Kind of staying with the same point, since you guys did have like an off week, could you kind of break down, how the coaches chose to spend that time? Did you all have some super long film sessions, or did you kind of like take an emphasis off of being super physical in practice just to kind of keep guys rested?
Yeah, I mean, we have a day during the week where we kind of get up and down and get to our lungs a little bit. So you got to kind of stay ready and stay in shape, especially during a week off. But then the last 2 days has been pretty normal preparation for us from watching same amount of film as what we usually do. Practices are very similar to what we do with the 2-day prep. But, just kind of the start of that week off was a little more recovery, but then get one tough practice in to kind of just get up and down and stay in rhythm.
You guys have gotten off to some pretty big leads in these games, and it's kind of led to some chippy play out there. We've seen teams get very, very physical. This was another game where it got very physical. Can you just talk about the team's mindset when things kind of get a little rough like that?
I just say that's our intensity coming in every game. It's high-level basketball. We don't kind of look at it like they're doing anything on purpose. Like when you go down a little bit, you try to find things to do to try to get your way back in the game, and we be prepared for those moments. We know that's a tough team. We give them credit with that, and they've been playing like that all year, whether they're up or not up. Like those guys are a little chippy, which make them so good. And, you just got to be able to keep going and stay clean and play clean and don't do anything to get thrown out or something like that.
You guys, what makes Chucky kind of an elite mixed master guy?
He's a unbelievable player, unbelievable teammate, and he's just a student of the game. He's always watching film and kind of seeing what's open when he kind of drives and seeing and just finding teammates, whether it's a lob to James and us out on the perimeter. But he's just unselfish and just wants to win, and he's doing whatever he can to allow that. Whether there's games he's got to score, games he's playmaking. But yeah, I mean, he's a special player and just an unbelievable teammate. It's so much fun being out there and playing with him.
Do you guys ever have any doubt whenever you see James getting a lob thrown his way that he's going to dunk the ball?
He had a M1 layup, so, I mean, that was probably a turnaround and he didn't dunk it, so that might have been a little surprise. But usually once I see it go up, it just kind of run back on defense after that.
Anything else for these two? Matt, last one.
For either of you guys, the team, it seemed like as a whole, kind of took the foot off the gas a little bit towards the end, and Pat Kelsey called a timeout and looked like he was really getting after you guys. What was kind of his message in that huddle?
So, I mean, it's tough. Like, PK, he just doesn't stop, and we definitely put our foot off the gas, and we got to pride ourselves on finishing games strong, and no one takes it harder than ourselves as a team. The coaches end up just having to remind us, like, we won. Like, be happy about winning, but, no one takes pride in finishing like what we do, and yeah, we just got to kind of finish those, especially when we get up in that lead, is just finishing strong.
All right, thanks, guys. All right, if everyone's ready, we will have head coach Pat Kelsey start us off with an opening statement.
Wake's a really good team. One of the best defensive teams in our conference. They're tough. They're physical. We knew we had our work cut out for us. I thought, I thought our guys for, 32, 33 minutes, we played, at times as good a basketball as we played all year long. Defensively, I thought we were good. Shared the ball. Had a very good assist-to-turnover ratio. Steve's a really good coach. I've known him for a long time. As I said, I think last week or at the press conference earlier in the week, we kind of came up in the business kind of the same way. He was a, Power 5 assistant, and then, was at East Tennessee State as a head coach. I was at Winthrop, and we played some home and homes against them, and every time we play them, it's always a knockdown drag-out. They're always so well-schooled, well-prepared, and they're always really tough. And, we were fortunate to come out with a win.
Questions for Coach Richard?
First half, they had 8 field goals and 9 turnovers. What were you trying to do defensively, and what was most effective for you guys?
Well, we wanted to try to disrupt, and try to, take them out of rhythm, and I thought we did a pretty good job of that. Our deflection total at halftime was like through the roof. That's always a good indicator that you're disrupted and you're flying around. Obviously 23 is one of the best players in our conference. He's an all-ACC performer. He made those 3 threes to start the game, and I thought, all 3 were relatively tough shots, the ones that you kind of just tip your cap. I know Terrence kind of guarded him after that kind of early spell, and different guys guard him throughout the game, but I keep telling you guys that Terrence has just made a huge jump in his defense, and really our entire team has, but I thought he did a really good job on him. Yeah, and we were fortunate to generate some good shots, made some shots, just got rolling. The Yum was rocking. I thought the crowd was phenomenal. I know it's a school night, so some people had to get out there a little bit early, but man, they made a major impression or major impact in the game.
Pat, you're left. You guys have gotten up big on several opponents here. What are you seeing and feeling when your team kind of gets on those rolls in these games?
Yeah, we're just clicking. You just kind of you feel it. We have a lot of momentum, playing well together. Our offense is in a great rhythm, and then they're really guarding, and we just always, no matter what the score is, if you're up 20, if you're up 25, if you're up 27, when we get to those media timeouts, the first question I always ask is, what's the score? And they all say 0-0, and then we just try to win that next 4-minute segment. So typically our team is really, really good in that regard. The last 8 minutes, it wasn't that way. I mean, it's good that we have some teachable moments. We have some things that we can really clean up late in the game. I thought we generated some open shots. We couldn't really get any to go down, and I felt like it kind of affected our defense a little bit, and that hasn't been the case. But it's good that we have some things that I can have a little bit of an aggressive counseling session with them tomorrow in film.
Coach, if you could just kind of talk about, it seemed like you had that 1-3-1 defense the way it was scouted, because immediately as soon as they went to that 1-3-1, you got 4 or 5 really good looks out of that. Just kind of talk about how this team soaks up the scouting report and executes.
Really do. I give our team a lot of credit. Like, we prepared for their 1-3-1 the last couple days, but I just didn't feel good going to bed last night that I liked our approach. So staff and we watched, every possession of their 1-3-1 throughout the course of the season. I think they've played like 89 possessions throughout the course of the year, and made some tweaks. And at the shoot-around yesterday, we kind of scrapped what we had done the last couple days and went to kind of like a new attack, and the guys, like they always do, picked it up and executed it really well.
Coach, what can you say about the progression of Kenai Roos and what you've seen out of him this season?
Yeah, Kenai's been great for us. He's the lone freshman on a team with a bunch of older dudes, and I've said it from the very beginning, he doesn't carry himself like a freshman. He never has. It's like from the first time we had a workout, and I kind of tried to dummy some stuff down to him, and like you do with freshmen sometimes, you spoon feed him. He's like, Coach, I got it. Don't slow down for me. I love that. He's a very conscientious teammate. His teammates love him. Works hard every day. And he's a phenomenal kid and a very, very, very talented young man.
Pat.
Okay, sorry.
Wake didn't have a run at all in the first half, and they didn't have a run greater than 4 points until the last 5 minutes of the second half. How hard is that for a team to do defensively? And, have you had a team like that, especially against a caliber opponent like Wake? Have you ever had a team do that before?
It'd be hard to go back and think. I've coached a lot of teams and some really good teams, but you're right. I mean, and I keep talking about it in the press conference. It's just the attention to detail and scouting report in the 1-2. I almost called it a movement. I told her it's like there's a movement going on with our team from a defensive perspective, and it starts in the minds and hearts of each guy in a Louisville jersey, and it just matters. Getting stopped matters. Taking care of their assignment matters. Picking up, for a mistake of your teammate matters. Defense is an attitude, and our guys have been playing with that little bit of a chip on their shoulder for the better part of the last month and a half.
You talked about the teachable moments you have going forward here. Why is it so important in a game that you trailed, I think it was 53 seconds total, why is it so important that in those closing minutes that you keep holding them accountable?
It's 0-0, and we lost that 4-minute segment, and that's the last thing we did, And So it's just, I make sure I tell them how pleased I am with them. I'm not crazy, you know. I make sure I tell them that A, I love them, and B, I'm proud of them because they're doing some special things. You know what's going on in the city, and the energy and the excitement and the buzz and the vibe. That's awesome. And these guys have put in a ton of time, and they care so much about what they've created because they want to give back to this community so much. They want to make them proud. And don't get it twisted. Like, that really matters to our guys. This town matters, and you know. So I make sure I tell them I'm proud of them too. But then, you know, I always say, and I don't know who said this, but somebody did. I've stolen everything from everybody. But if you're not teaching it, you're not allowing it. If you're not coaching it, you're allowing it. You know, we coach everything. You know, we coached the walk-ons and the managers and the GAs at the shoot-around session this morning in each of their rebounding things. The energy they have to bring, the voice they have to bring, everything matters. So that's what's fun about teaching and coaching. We can win a big game against these guys, and I'm proud of our guys and happy, but I can't wait to go turn on that tape to the last 8 minutes and see what we can clean up. Yeah, man. You know, Javon is cheese or Pete's. He's special, man. He's just a special kid. He's so mature. He's way more mature than I am, which maybe it's not hard to do. But he, just the way he goes about his work, his relentless pursuit of the basketball and the glass. And we got other guys like that as well, but you asked me about Javon specifically. Like, he just he empties the tank on every possession, you know, and he's really grown, man. He's had an unbelievable season. You could see the positions we're putting him in. He's getting more and more kind of clout in our offense. We're running stuff through him a lot. We put him at the point, let him run some actions. Yeah, I love coaching Javon. And, you know, Chucky, we had 8 assists, 3 turnovers today. I mean, I keep saying it. He's playing at as high a level and as good as any point guard in America, and I wouldn't trade him for anybody.
A common theme during this 10-game winning streak is just how well prepared you guys are for these games. As someone who is on the scout team, could you kind of speak to the importance of having the scout team? Keep guys ready.
Yeah,
for anything
25 strong, man. Like, you guys have heard me say that before. 25 strong. You know, now that we're at the Power 5 level, like when I was at mid-major level, there was probably literally 25 people in our thing, but. You know, and there's a lot more than 25 now, but symbolically 25 is we have that number as a reason. But every single person, whether it's Dana, you know, who's phenomenal at what she does her job with excellence every day because it matters. The student managers, I always say hire those guys and thank me later because, you know, they're just so hardworking, so resourceful. The scout team guys, like memorizing the sets of the other team, memorizing the baseline out of bounds alignments of the other team, and identifying when the other team lines up in that baseline out of bounds what's coming, and they're screaming it out to our players. That matters. I was a scout team guy playing for the late, great Skip Prosser, you know, at Xavier and Wake Forest, and I just took so much pride in that. You know, and my job was not to let those starters down by preparing them with everything I got every day. And we try to make sure that every person in our organization and the fan base is part of the 25 strong. They have a job to do, and they're doing it. They're showing up in big numbers, and they're being loud, and they're making an impact on the game. Everything goes into winning, and we just make sure everybody knows how much we appreciate. The fans know how much we appreciate them. The walk-ons, the GAs, the managers, Dana, the academic people. I mean, I could keep going down the line. 25 strong is real, and it matters to us, and it's important. It's a big part of our culture.
Can I just ask this like a quick follow-up? Because doing what you say to try to get everything down pat to memory seems very hard. And when you guys are starting your scout, basically, you don't have much time to do this sort of thing. Just
what does it take for those guys? Right?
Well, the assistants have their scouts, right? So we break up all the games by assistants, and then as soon as this game ends, right, and you know, I don't even know who has the Georgia Tech scout, but that coach will get with the scout team tomorrow, and then they'll start going over everything. And we don't show our guys everything, but the scout team knows everything. It just, I have scout team pride, walk-on pride, man. I don't have it tattooed on me, but it might as well be because it really matters. And, you know, Skip Prosser treated me like I was the Chucky Hepburn of that team, right? He didn't treat me like a second-class citizen because I was not a starter and didn't play a lot of minutes. He valued my role, and we will always do that in our organization as well.
Even in a game where you guys were up by nearly 30, you mentioned how there were still some teachable moments in that second half when it seemed like they were starting to take their foot off the gas a little bit, and you call that late timeout in the last few minutes. What was your message to them?
Well, we gave up a free throw, an offensive rebound off of a free throw, which is cardinal sin in our. I mean, it drives me nuts. You know, like, so we had 2 back-to-back plays where we didn't block out, and they got second shots, and, you know, it's just not what we're about, and I don't care what the score is. Like, it's not acceptable. So we learn from it, and we'll be better moving forward.
All right, thank you all.
Appreciate it.
There's also a scout teamer in center.
What's that?
I was also a scout teamer for center football.
Is that right?
Yeah.
So you know, it matters.